Yeah, bomb first. Illuminati outlaw. I come back as Ego Veli. Weak motherfuckers don't deserve to breathe. Oh my gosh. Hey, shooters, I need y'all. I'm too close to the edge. I'm too close to the edge on this one. I come back as Ego Veli. Ego Veli the Dawn, once again, it's on. Peep it, when we ride. Peep it, when we ride. Me versus old media. Get ready. Hey, 21 gun salute, dressed in fatigues, black jeans and boots on this side. Oh my God, I can't wait to get started. Shout out to Abdullah, subscribing. Hey shooters, I'm gonna need y'all for this one, cause oh my gosh, I'm not tolerating no bullshit. If you ready to ride for Ego's army, show your mean mug face. That's what I'm talking about. See, I got legendary shooters, bro. I need that mean mug face. We got to get this party started the correct way. I promise you. Old media getting destroyed. Y'all won't leave me alone. I told you what was coming. So just be ready. Ego versus all the old media. Let's debate it out. Let's see who's talking the most boxing, who's making the most sense, who got logic. And I ain't talking about the biracial rapper. We're going to see who got logic. We're going to see what makes the most sense on this side, that real side. I told y'all should have left me alone. Y'all didn't want to listen. Now it's on. Oh my gosh. We're going to talk about it. Listen, I don't care about Crawford Khan. I don't care about none of that. We talking about this. Joshua, Luis Ortiz. If you do not come here to talk about the heavyweight division, namely Luis Ortiz and Joshua, and this spin job that we're getting from old media, then get off the page right now or forever hold your peace. They got the mean mugs ready. The fans want it. You know, I'm a give it a minute. You know, we could just politic for, another couple minutes, and then it's on. I promise you. I am not playing no games with old media. I told you this was coming, and we in the lead. I'm in the lead. I could pop a Willie. We gonna see whose arguments make the most sense. We gonna see the last man standing, Kumite style, and I'm Van Damme. I'm Frank Dukes. Like, put up your Dukes, right? So I'm Van Damme. You could be Chong Lee. You could be from wherever. You know what I'm saying? That big sumo dude. I'm Van Damme. Bam! Oh my gosh. I'm geeked up. Shotty, man. I'm geeked up. I got something to eat. I got a little Mountain Dew. I'm ready, bruh. I put gas in the whip. I ain't got nothing to do. They say don't start a war unless I got my money right. Well, I got my money right. Now I want war. Smash the like button. I'm coming. I told you what I was going to do to old media all year. 2019 is bad. I told y'all it's bad for them. It's bad. They must be stopped. They must be stopped. They have no shame in the lies, the retarded logic that they have, the shape shifting. And the great thing is this: the money long, we just growing, the message is getting louder, the fans want it, we got the most entertainment. I done the livest live gates, we got the livest live stream, we speaking the most facts, we got the premier shooters. They can't stop this movement. I tried to tell y'all, they can't stop this movement. They can't outthink us. For they best move, we already 5 steps ahead of that. And I'm gonna show it with this particular subject. I've been jamming them up on Twitter all day. They won't leave me alone. I said my piece. Y'all need to learn how to collect the L. Y'all need to learn how to just take the L. You make it. Listen, The day new media start looking like this, then I have to consider putting an end to this, because old media out here looking dusty, old media looking crazy out here. They looking crazy out here. So if we ever get to the point where we just fell off like that, then we got to consider packing it up, because old media out here looking crazy. The arguments they're making, the points that they're making, is really simple, people. And I promise you, if I haven't illustrated, and I don't even care regarding this situation, bring your best men. Go, tell your casual friends to come to this stream and bring them all. My shooters, between me and the hot seat and the shooters, that shit gonna get handled. If you talking shit off, like dumb shit off rip, you getting blocked. But if you have a solid argument, we would love to hear it. Like the title says, ego versus old media. We gonna get to the bottom of this. Man, I'm ready to. Oh my gosh, I love when I feel like this. I feel hungry. I feel like I got something to prove. In the words of Muhammad Ali, the great, the GOAT, I'm ready to back up every word I'm saying. I'm ready to back up every word. Are you? I must be the greatest. I'm the greatest. I shook up the world. I'm ready to back up every word I'm saying. I'm too fat. Like, let's get it. I'm ready. We gonna see. We gonna see what makes the most sense. See, the problem is, and then we'll get started. The problem is, you got people who, it's crazy what this society does. We got all this technology, all these smartphones, these different, things that are supposed to be tools for us to be better, to be, more advanced. And we got smartphones that's making dumb people. People just start running with other people's logic and not interpreting it. See, I blame this technology, this digital age. I promise you. Because when I was a kid, we didn't have as much of this shit. You know what I'm saying? You actually had to learn to write cursive. You had to learn to spell your name. Now these motherfuckers can't even spell their names. They don't even know how to spell their name. They can't write cursive. They can't do simple times table. If I said, what's 3 times 3, you motherfuckers would phone a friend. 3 times 3? Oh, shit. It's been a while. They wouldn't know what to do, because they're reliant on other people's information, worried about other people's pockets. You down with OPP? And it's sad, because people keep repeating the same misinformation, the same lies. We gonna break it down. We gonna break this down as one big happy family. Oh, media going down. I promise you. I promise you that. You know how Cassidy acting right now with that battle? That's how I feel. Like Cass, I feel hungry again. I told you, I feel like Cassidy right now. Man, I'm a heavyweight. That's like a heavyweight versus the featherweight. The pump make you levitate. I'm like Hurricane Katrina when the levee break. And that ain't Cass, that's just me. But I said the pump make you levitate. I'm like Hurricane Katrina when the levee break. My dudes move heavyweight in every state. That China white like dinner plate. You been a fake. Let's get it. I'm so in the zone right now. I said that's like a heavyweight versus a featherweight. The pump make you levitate. I'm like Hurricane Katrina when the levee break. My goons move heavyweight in every state. Move that hard China white like dinner plates. You been a fake. Let's get it. Oh my gosh, bro. I told you this shit like a battle rap to me, bruh. A heavyweight versus a featherweight pump make you levitate. Oh my gosh. Hurricane Katrina when that levee break. So, where's old media? Me and King Corleone. Oh my God, we about to talk to him. Bro. Man, we spread like germs. Y'all can listen to Eddie Hearns and AJ. Y'all better wait 1 minute like Ray J, because when the K spray, oh my God, let's get it. All right, let's get it. I'm ready, bro. I'm hyped up. He said 5,001 in the hot seat. I told you I feel like Cassidy, bro. I said, y'all, new media, we spread like germs. You can listen to Eddie Hearns and AJ. Y'all better wait a minute like Ray J. I'd knock you off your scooty bike with the lead pipe, Looty. Never. You dudes booty tight. Let's get it. All right. I'm ready. Smash the like button. Oh, yeah, we need that. Don DeMarco, Mark. All right. So I was slaughtering people on Twitter. Slaughtering them. So I said, you know what? That's what I do full time. Let's catch some more bodies because I can do this. I don't work for somebody else. I work for me. So I could just do this when I want. Let's see old media catch up because half of these motherfuckers, they not doing this for real. They not doing this, you know, full time like us. They ain't done the livest gates like us. What they talking about, huh? So we're going to analyze some of these points. The bottom line is this. Gerald Miller failed a drug test. Shame on him. He has to vindicate his name some kind of way. That's what he said he's going to do. We'll have to wait and see. Meanwhile, June 1st is looking a mess. The fight is in shambles. They're searching for Joshua's opponent. You know, just typical stuff when a major big fight is like, you know, goes from sugar to shit. No biggie. But there's only limited guys that are available. There's only limited guys that DAZN has direct access to, like in terms of their stable, without, you know, utilizing PBC, Al Heyman, Bob Arum, Top Rank, stuff like that. So that list becomes narrowed. Then you start looking at the potential real specters. It gets narrower because some fights wouldn't make sense. Like, yeah, Daniel Dubois versus AJ, that's cool. But Daniel Dubois has a fight already with Lardy, and he's not at that spot in his career where I would see Frank Warren, you know, volunteering him, canceling his event. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So bottom line is DAZN, they raised the price. They have Triple G, had no guys fighting a horrific fight that no one asked for. Just like the Gerald Miller wasn't a horrific fight, but it was still a fight nobody asked for. And now the worst part about it is you have old media who, in true form, they're doing what they do best, being snakes, rats, fakes, roaches, shapeshifters, two-faced. Listen, back me up on this. If you Ego's Army for real, people like me have been clamoring for, advocating for, speaking out against, speaking out for a fight with Anthony Joshua versus Luis King Kong Ortiz. I told you, this is a good contest. It's a good competition. And I got to call the UK out on this one. Because when I was doing this, I was hearing a lot of energy. And it doesn't take rocket science to see where some people are from. Between the lingo, between the way you guys spell words, between when I go to block you and I see you have, you know, Arsenal, soccer, and rugby, and this and that, and then this in your bio. I could tell you're where you're from. Everything you're sharing is, you know, the Daily Mail and a bunch of UK print media and stuff like that. It doesn't really take rocket science. So I got to call out old media on this. This is how we're going to open it up. I seen a lot of, shout out to Tony P, $2 super chat. I seen a lot of energy listen, this is before Gerald Miller failed a drug test, mind you. This has been for over a years probably. At least 2 years. You know, put it this way. It's been at least since Klitschko. Because I know at that time, Klitschko was coming off an 18-month loss, fooling around with Tyson Fury. He thought he was going to get a shot. Luis Ortiz thought he was going to get a shot with AJ. And they had him on the sidelines waiting as the mandatory. And he thought he was going to fight the winner. Never. He got lied to, and then he failed a drug test, which got cleared through the WBC, who found the drug test. They removed him from all rankings, and Joshua's never had to worry about him being a mandatory. Meanwhile, Povetkin, who failed 2 drug tests in 1 year, somehow became Anthony Joshua's mandatory again with the same sanctioning bodies, and they fought last year. Explain that. you motherfuckers ain't better than us. You know, oh, ego, be cocky. Fuck you. You're not better than us. Explain how Luis Ortiz fails a drug test, explains and gets doctor's notes and shit. The people who found his drug test, the WBC, allowed him to fight. The clean boxing program under WBC VADA protocol, they found Luis Ortiz's drug test. And then his fight with Wilder got canceled because they had to scramble to figure out, similar to what's happening with Gerald Miller. Luis Ortiz and his team said, hey, yo, check it. I have a doctor. He could vouch for me. I have hypertension, high blood pressure, right? So this is why. You know, we should have declared it, but blah, blah, blah. Long story short, Wilder fought Ortiz for the WBC title. So the WBC, after their hearing with Luis Ortiz and his team and talking to his doctor and shit, they cleared him and said, okay, you know, that was a more or less a human error. You know, you weren't doing anything malicious. Let him fight for the title. Meanwhile, Povetkin failed 2 drug tests in 1 year. He had meldonium and ostarine in his system. His fight with Wilder got canceled. Later in that year, they said, meldonium was recently banned, so we'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Just fight this eliminator with Bermane Stiverne in Russia again, because the Wilder fight was supposed to be in Russia. Bermane Stiverne, I talked to him. I got the interview. He flew out to Russia. They did a weigh-in. Right after the weigh-in, it came back, the reports or they got notified by whoever, VADA or whatever, Povetkin failed another drug test. That's literally what happened. They sent Stiverne home. He didn't get to fight, and then he ended up fighting when Luis Ortiz failed a drug test. He ended up getting the fight. So how did Povetkin become mandatory and he failed 2 drug tests unexplained in 1 year? In 1 year. And he became Joshua's mandatory before Luis Ortiz? Looking shaky, baby. I'm destroying them. That's why what I'm doing, I know what I'm doing. I'm destroying them. Old media, come get this work. I'm destroying them. We not playing none of the games. Everything I'm saying is researchable fact. So that's just my opening argument, Your Honor. In the state, you know, old media versus ego, we taking them to church, we taking them to school, church. Smash a like button. So anyway, there's a lot of weird shit like that. So bottom line is this: Luis Ortiz been Joshua's mandatory. Motherfuckers didn't give 2 pieces of pit bull shit about fighting him. Now you're in a bind. Now you want him to fight you. But you chose Klitschko over him. And then as soon as he got dropped from the rankings, you as the A side, he did, because Joshua hasn't just fought mandatories. He fought mandatories, but he fought other people too. He still didn't choose Luis Ortiz. But now that you're in a bind, now all of a sudden we're blaming Heyman. We're blaming Luis Ortiz for, you know, oh, he's making a wrong decision. You have a chance at a title, you take it, even if it's short notice. Fuck off. He's been the mandatory, he's been the man. And then this is what the craziest part about old media is this. People like me, and that's why I said I'm blaming the UK, because I seen where the energy was coming from oftentimes. People like me for years have been advocating for Anthony Joshua to fight Luis King Kong Ortiz. It's a good fight. It's a meaningful fight. It'll show me something. Ortiz is still a top dog, belt or no belt. And he gave Wilder all he can handle and a run for his money. So I've been, new media, King Corleone, you know, Ego's Army. We've been advocating for this fight to happen. Guess what they told us? And like I said, a lot of this energy, I can't say all of it, but I know for a fact a lot of it came from the UK. You know what they told me when I was trying to make that fight? When I was like telling, like, hey, man, AJ should start looking at Luis Ortiz. He should fight him. They said Luis Ortiz is old. Luis Ortiz ain't beat anyone. He needs WD-40 on his legs. He's, 1,000 years old, and no one has his birth certificate, on some Donald Trump, Barack Obama shit, And they're saying, oh, he hasn't even looked good in his last fights, and his fight with Dave Allen, and this and that, Malik Scott wasn't, nobody knows him. These are the things that they were saying. Now, do you understand? These same motherfuckers is trying to act like they been pushing for Luis Ortiz to get his opportunity. Oh, now you want Luis Ortiz to get an opportunity? But for years, when me, Ego's Army, DBN, new media, when we were pushing for Luis Ortiz to get his fair birthright, which is, a title shot, and then he got one with Wilder, but he didn't get one with Joshua. Now all of a sudden they trying to act like they was the ones that been pushing for this and acting like Luis Ortiz is ducking or he's afraid. Y'all gotta stop. I told y'all. All that ego shit is cool, but you dealing with Ego Vela, you dealing with the real one. Now you guys care. Now after I've been making video after video saying, hey, it's a good fight, and y'all was making all these piddly ass excuses. Now all of a sudden you want to see Luis Ortiz get out. Oh, I mean, come on, it's a hell of an opportunity, and he's missing out. Now they're trying to do scare tactics. That's what that is. They're trying to do scare tactics to make Luis Ortiz feel like, hey, bud, even though you're ill prepared, you don't have a full training camp like Joshua has had. Take this because you're 40. We never know when these opportunities gonna fuck that. Because when he was 38, he could have got the fight. When he was 37, he could have got the fight. When he was 39, he could have got the fight. Now you want to see the fight on late notice. Y'all don't know what y'all did. Y'all don't know what y'all started. I know they not built for this. I know they are not built for this. They can't outthink me. They're not doing and saying things with more logic. Now, so the whole time that I was advocating for the fight, making videos, talking the back and forth, when Luis Ortiz called him a chicken, when he said Joshua was this and he's a pussy and he's that, and we were like, hey, that's a good fight. Hey, it's a good fight. Now all of a sudden you want to see the fight. Bottom line is old media knows their time is up. Bottom line is old media knows that they've been back in DAZN. A lot of them saying, oh, Eddie Hearn is the best. And remember this? When DAZN came out, they said DAZN's taking over. Oh, for only $9.99 a month, you get all this. They realize their empire is crushing. The empire that they tried to build, which was based on facades, they realized it is crumbling. Everything they stood for, everything they suggested, everything they precluded, everything that they predicted is coming to a screeching halt. And this is because of new media. This is because Death Row East. This is because young Ego Vela, young credentials. Shout out to Tony P, $4 super chat. AJ been clout chasing Ortiz. Facts. Moving on. I'm not even done. I told you I could destroy him. I could destroy him in several different ways. So allow me to please continue. If y'all want me to continue, can I get a hell yeah? This is easy peasy for me. I lived through this. See, this is not like 1908 and Jack Johnson fought Robert Smith and shit, and I didn't live in that era. I wasn't even conceived. My dad wasn't alive. It's not that. This is the era I lived in. I'm living this era as we speak. So this is not no ancient archaic before, when they had black and white cameras and Ray Robinson pulled out of this fight. I lived this. So I'm good with this all day because I lived this era. Let's continue. For all you dumb motherfuckers on old media, y'all getting hit up with, they look at, if they were any piece of cheese, it would be Swiss cheese because there's so many holes in their goddamn argument. Can I get an amen? So, all you imbeciles who are saying Luis Ortiz is ducking and won't, even though he's been calling him out for years, even though people like me have been saying, hey, it's a great fight, and y'all didn't want to hear none of that. Y'all was saying Luis Ortiz was old and 1,000 and, he ain't fought nobody and Dave Allen and all, all this dumb shit, right? Now all of a sudden you want to see Luis Ortiz go after it and get his, it's a chance at 4 belts, guys. 4 belts. Yeah, it was a chance at 4 belts before Anthony Joshua decided to fight Gerald fucking Miller too, wasn't it? It's not. Joshua didn't just come up and get the belts and then now this is fell in the lap of Wilder. Joshua been the champ. He been had 4 belts since Joseph Parker. And he had 3 before that. Y'all getting bodied. Anyway, Ken Corleone. They must think we stupid. Ken Corleone. They must think we not intelligent. So, peep this. For a lot of you guys out the loop with old media, let me remind you. I told you I'm like Roy Jones with this shit. Roy Jones in his prime, not the one, you know, after he got knocked out shit. I'm talking about prime Roy. You not fucking with prime Roy. I promise you that. Didn't I just say that? That's what it takes. Sometimes you take something from me, I'm coming to get it back. You beat me. I say, okay, we had a good night. I'm still coming to get it back. If you take it dishonestly, I'm coming to get it back. I told you, I'm like prime Roy. Y'all must have forgot. So let me remind you. So, guess what? Eddie Hearns managed Luis King Kong Ortiz. After Luis Ortiz, you know, ended his relationship with Golden Boy, Matchroom picked him up. Rematchroom picked him up. Guess what? Joshua was already a relevant star at that time. He had already been being built and shit at that time. This is when, that's why the Luis Ortiz fight, if you go in a box rec, you look at it. Malik Scott was in the UK and Dave Allen fight was in the UK. You know why? Because he was with Matchroom. So all you dumb motherfuckers trying to act like you've been on the hype and been wanting to see Luis Ortiz get a shot. Well, how come he didn't get the shot at AJ on fair terms when AJ was a rematch room fighter and Luis Ortiz was signed to a case-by-case, you know, few fight deal with Matchroom? What? I can't hear y'all. So when Rematch Room was managing the career of both Joshua and Luis Ortiz, when he was undefeated, not the one that Wilder beat up and knocked out, but the undefeated one, why didn't they make the fight then? Since y'all care so much, y'all want to see Luis Ortiz get his opportunity, get a fair shake. Why didn't they make it when Luis Ortiz was over there? Y'all ain't talking now? So, once again, when Rematch Room had Luis Ortiz as a signed Matchroom fighter and Anthony Joshua as a signed relevant heavyweight, I'm pretty sure he was a champion too. Then why didn't they make the fight then? Now, all of a sudden, with ill time to prepare, which you guys are lying about that. See, the great thing about new media, none of what I'm saying is a lie. I'm not lying and saying that Luis Ortiz was signed to Matchroom and he really wasn't. You guys are lying. I feel like the scene on Dragon the Bruce Lee story, where he was talking about how he had perfected the martial arts Jeet Kune Do, which Bruce Lee created, and then everyone's like, yeah, get out of here. They didn't believe him. He's like, you strip away the inessentials, and then they're like, boo, boo, get out of here. Bruce Lee was like, okay, I'll prove it. I'll beat any man in this room in less than 60 seconds. And then Bruce Lee's wife got mad. She's like, don't do it, Bruce. I'm not going. He's like, I beat him before. I beat him again. And then the wife got mad. Don't do it, Bruce. I'm not going through this again. Hey, Linda, don't go too far, hun. It'd be over in 60 seconds. Okay, I'll prove it. You want me to prove it? My pleasure. I told y'all done fucked up royally. You should have never got me started. Now y'all getting bodied. Oh my gosh. Y'all getting bodied, B. Okay, one lie. They keep saying that Luis Ortiz or anybody got 7-8 weeks to prepare. Okay. So we're going to check that for consistency. They talking about, let's say 7. Okay. So Gerald Miller, just yesterday, it was announced that he failed his drug test shit. Or that he couldn't get a license, I guess is the better way to put it. Okay, so today's the April 18th. Yesterday, it was ruled that he could no longer compete because he couldn't get a license. So the 24th right here is 1 week because it started Wednesday, all this fiasco. So the 24th is 1 week. The 1st is 2 weeks. The 8th is 3 weeks. The 15th is 4 weeks. The 22nd is 5 weeks. And then the 29th is the 6th week. But guess what? This is on Wednesday, and the fight is, look, so the 6th week is the 29th, Wednesday. The fight would be on this Saturday. So he doesn't even have a full 6 weeks. But once again, you idiots like to listen to people. You like to listen to people and not even check the work to see if it makes sense. If this really makes sense. Once again, let's do the basic math. Today's the 18th. Yesterday, Miller was denied an application, or his application for a license denied. So that's the soonest that they could have like really signed somebody, because they didn't know what was going on. So the 17th to the 24th, that's 1 week. 2, 3, 4, 5. The 6th week is right here, and that's the week of June 1st, the date of the fight. Why'd y'all fuck with me? Like, honestly. Y'all thought y'all was better? Y'all thought y'all was better than me? So, once again, these people just repeat what they hear other people say. So, let's break that down even further, because I just physically showed you on a calendar that 6 weeks would lead into fight week. So it's not even, they're saying it's 7 and 8 weeks. So it's not even 6 weeks, because by the 6th week, you're already in fight week. And I just showed you that. On a calendar, a 3-month calendar. I just showed you that. So motherfuckers talking, where's 7 weeks? Where are you getting 7 weeks? It's the 7th week would be the week after the fight has already happened. And then, not to mention, 6 weeks would be Wednesday into fight week. So where'd you get 7 from? But once again, these motherfuckers keep recycling the same thing that somebody else said. They don't. Listen, all of us have cell phones for the most part. Your cell phone has a built-in, I could have showed you on the phone, but it's easier on the screen. But I could have showed you, the same thing on the phone. Everybody has a calendar on their thing, but people are, that's what I'm saying. We live in a dumbass society. People won't even pull up this and see if this makes sense. So let's break this down further. I told you I'm bodying shit. We ain't doing no play. I don't care what nobody talking about. So I just proved to you physically, without a shadow of a doubt, that it's not even 6 weeks, not even a full 6 weeks, let alone 7 weeks. So take the 7 week and shove it up your ass, because it's definitely not 7 weeks. 6 weeks. So that's just looking at a calendar, which is not, that doesn't make sense. That's like, okay, let's say you guys work at your job and you work 40 hours a week, right? Yeah, that's 40, but unless you're fucking Jeff Goldblum in the Fly and you could teleport, then you have to account for other things. You can't just be like, oh, I work 40 hours and that's it. You have to account for the commute both ways. One, to work, from work, going to lunch. So you can't just put in exactly enough gas to get you to and from, or just to get at work and be there. You know what I'm saying? You have to account for those types of things. This is common sense, people. So I proved to you without a shadow of doubt, it's not even 7 weeks, and it's not even a full 6 weeks. Beyond that, we just found out that Gerald Big Baby Miller yesterday wasn't approved. We don't know where Luis Ortiz, Adam Kanowski, where they're at. They could be, like, last time I heard, Luis Ortiz was in Cuba or on vacation or some shit. I don't know where he's at now. So we can't just assume he's at home with his gloves on and a mouthpiece ready to go. That's not how that works, because nobody was expecting this. Gerald Miller wasn't even expecting this. So I know Luis Ortiz, everyone thought we had a fight June 1st. So one, that's not even realistic. Like, just because you're looking at a calendar date, that don't mean you just get out of bed and just start, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. That's not how that works. You don't even know where he's at. You don't know the other thing, sparring partners. You think for a fight of this magnitude, he's only going to necessarily fight local guys? He's not going to, like, fight fly guys in, or, wait for guys to come down, drive down and stuff. You don't know. So you have to arrange that type of stuff. Arrange for your sparring partners to be there. Then beyond that, if you actually knew what the fuck you guys were talking about with boxing and spent time with fighters, you will know that it gets to a certain point in camp where you pull back and you taper down and you're not doing anything too strenuous, too much contact. The reason being, you should just be recovering from hard, intense training and hard sparring, taper down to your light sparring, and then you cut that off and do light shakeouts so you're loose and not, so you don't cramp up, and just relax and do a little bit of running or whatever if you have to still cut weight, which he's a heavyweight, so he wouldn't really have to worry about that. You know what I'm saying? So people keep saying, I just proved to you how it's not 7 weeks. I just proved to you how it's not even a full 6 weeks. And then once again, people are developing a strategy, getting sparring partners, tapering down and not doing hard sparring, because you don't want to do hard sparring on Monday, the week of the fight, and then you get a cut over your eye, and then now you can't get the million anyway, or you get your nose broke, or you break your knuckle, and then now you're in the Joshua fight with an injury, your leg is fucked up. How many fights have we seen where somebody in camp didn't go easy enough and then they got injured right before the fight? You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't work like that. You can't even just look at a calendar and just be like, 6 weeks. Because even if it was a full 6 weeks, what I just proved that it wasn't, it doesn't work like that, because you have to align things. You have to get a strategy. You have to see where your weight's at. What if you had a flying Chris Algieri because he was your nutritionist? You don't know. That stuff, that doesn't just all happen overnight. And then Luis Ortiz is not like Conor McGregor, Floyd, or even AJ, where his resources, where he could just easily, like, I'm sure the more money you make in the sport, the easier it is to get shit pronto. You dig me? Like Conor McGregor, I'm sure he could just fly someone in from Ireland or something to spar if he wanted to, because that's the type of pay scale he's earning. I don't know other fighters, if they have that in their means to just fly someone over from the UK, overnight them. You know what I'm saying? And you don't even know if the sparring partners are available. It just takes time. What if a sparring partner is already in somebody else's camp and that's the guy you were going to use? Or what if they have their own fight and they're like, I won't be able to help you this week? It takes time. But once again, these buffoons try to go up against new media with these weak-ass strawman arguments that don't make sense. And if you really know boxing, you'll realize it's a process. These different things. That's why an 8 to 10 week camp is, in both parties knowing about the fight, that's generally a good time frame to where everyone feels they can get everything they need done. Not no damn 5.5 week. The other thing is like negotiating. Gerald Miller was officially announced as not a candidate yesterday. So Luis Ortiz doesn't even know if he's getting the fight. His team would have to negotiate that. So, that whole 7 week shit is out the window. 6 weeks out the window, especially when you consider things like that. So he's going to start training and doing hardcore shit, and the fight's not even fully negotiated, And then the other weak-ass argument people are coming up with is, you should stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Kiss my whole entire ass. Because that sounds good, but how many people are prepared for every situation no matter what? Like, I know some of you guys don't even have a tire iron or a jack to jack up your car, or a spare donut, a spare tire, or flares, or jumper cables, and you don't think about that shit until you need it. There's a lot of people like that. Go look in your car and tell me you have everything. You have flares, you have an air pressure gauge, you have a jack to lift up your car, you know how to even change a tire. Some of y'all don't even know that. Y'all driving cars and don't even know how to change a spare, just in case. And y'all want to tell, stay ready. So it sounds cute. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. But it's not realistic. I'm a pretty planned and precise strategic person too. But if I thought I was covering a fight, or if I didn't think I was covering a fight, and then all of a sudden I had to leave, and cover a fight, then depending on what it is, I might not, you know what I'm saying? I might not be ready for it either. That's just being real. Like, let's say I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to cover Wilder fight in May. And I think I have between now and Wilder Brazil, May 18th, with no fights. And then all of a sudden, a network or promoter said, hey, we need you to cover this fight, in 2 days. That changes things. And not everyone will be ready at any given time. And for people to not know the situation and just say, oh, Adam Kanowski can be ready, Luis Ortiz can be ready, is some bullshit. I don't give a fuck about $7 million. The fuck is you talking about? Who cares about $7 million? And once again, you don't listen. Okay, I told you I'm putting him in the hot seat. How you know they were gonna give him the same purse that they gave Gerald Miller? Low Culture, I know you're a regular. You about to get blocked too, bro. This is not the stream. All right, fuck it. Igor, we don't block him. Block Igor. Exactly. You talking out the side of your neck. You talking about, oh, we get him $7 million. $7 million sounds nice. You don't even know if that was the offer for Gerald Miller. He failed that. He said that's an assumption. Yeah, you just made an ass out of you, but not me. Blocked. Who else? Low Culture, you want some too? Bro, I'm not playing with nobody. You talking about $7 million sounds nice. Well, how do you know it's $7 million? How do you know that the exact money that was negotiated for Miller's side is what's offered? I ain't seen no contract. I ain't heard nothing about $7 million from Luis Ortiz's side. So how do you know that they just switched over the contract and then just crossed off Gerald Miller's name? You just made that up. Yeah, you're going to be Low Culture. So how you know it's $7 million? Like all they did is just cross it off and just put Luis Ortiz's name and offered him $7 million. You have 10 seconds. You fucking on my flow. 9 seconds. Shooters, get ready. Low Culture, this is you. 8 seconds. 7 seconds. We're not playing. I'm not showing no mercy. No, this is not the stream. 6 seconds. Low Culture. 5 seconds. How do you know it's $7 million? 4 seconds. How do you know he's getting offered the same exact that Miller got? 3 seconds. 2 seconds. Low Culture, how you know? Shooter, get rid of him. Yeah, I swear I'm not letting him mess up. I'm on a roll. And I think he was a regular too. I don't. Exactly. You don't. That's exactly it. You talking about $7 million sounds nice. I told you this is not the channel for you. If you just making up shit and just, going with whatever you feel without no fact, this is not the channel for you. Because how is it that I have to show and prove every single thing that I say, and then these dudes can just come and say whatever based on an assumption with no tangible proof? No, we didn't hear Luis Ortiz said, hey, I turned down $7 million. We didn't see none of that. And they just say it and run with it like it's fact. I'm going off of shit that I showed you on a calendar how much time is between the ban, the New York State license rejection to the actual fight date. That's proof. There's no, hey, that's Ego's opinion. That ain't my opinion on it. That's actual fact based on a calendar. He said he did it for the culture. Hey, I'm not showing no mercy. If you want to rebuttal and go against new media right now, you setting yourself up in the scope. So anyway, that again, even if you look at the 5.5, 6 weeks or whatever, it's not even necessarily that, because you don't know that people are just ready to spring up. And that's what people are asking. They're asking Luis Ortiz and Kaunowski and all these people to spring up into action. And then just jump for money. And then they're trying to use a scare tactic on top of that. Oh, Luis Ortiz, I mean, he's 40. What the fuck is him 40 have to do? He been 38, 39, 40. He didn't get the Joshua fight anyway. But now he's supposed to just hurry up and take it. You motherfuckers don't really know shit about boxing. It's very evident. Other thing is, I told you, stop telling me how old Luis Ortiz is. He's 40, but he don't fight like a 40-year-old. So it's not, what are we talking about? You could put a 22-year-old in there with Luis Ortiz, he gonna beat their ass. So that 40 shit is like, he doesn't even fight in a style where he's taking a lot of damage, bro. Yeah, exactly. That oh my gosh, Tony P with the assist. That's what I'm saying. Nobody said this to George Foreman when he knocked the fuck out of Michael Moore. Nobody, oh, he's 40. Nobody said this to B-Hop. He was like 1,000 fighting Kovalev. Nobody cared then. Stop it. I don't even know why y'all started. Eagles Army is destroying y'all. Terrell Cowell, new shooter, said, didn't hear that age talk when AJ fought a 40-year-old Vladimir Klitschko. Y'all getting destroyed by new media. This is funny. I love it. I love it. So, yeah, it's looking abysmal. And here's the other thing from a business perspective. I don't care who he fights. Whoever they come with, that's who he should fight. I'm not DAZN. I'm not Eddie Hearn. That's their issue. They have to. I'm not. What's the point of me making a suggestion on who he should fight when I've been making suggestions and he never fought them? I suggested he fight Wilder for the last 2 years, 3 years. I suggested he fought Luis Ortiz for the last 2-3 years. I suggest Triple G fight Andrade, fight Charlo for the WBC Eliminator. I suggested all that. DAZN didn't make it. Why you want me to suggest something now? They're clearly not listening. Why do you want me to make suggestions on who he should fight now when for the last few years, you know, between Eddie Hearn and DAZN, because DAZN ain't been around for like years like that in boxing, but even since they've been around, I'm not getting a lot of the fights that I would have suggested or that I have suggested. You know, I thought Tevin Farmer, Joseph Jojo Diaz was a good fight for the Canelo card, especially since David Lemieux's injured now. But guess what? They didn't make it. So why y'all want me to suggest shit now? Moving on. So the bottom line is, we're not doing this. The old media spin doctors are trying to paint this narrative like this blood falls on, like this blood is on Luis Ortiz's hand. And this is the other thing about business. It is not anybody's obligation to save another promoter's card. Point blank, period. If they can do it, they can do it. But once again, you have fake ass fans who are all of a sudden trying to play the noble role and try to act like they're just about nobility and chivalry and, you know, random acts of kindness. Stop. You look crazy. You know, they trying to act all noble and stuff. Well, I'm just about Luis Ortiz, the best versus the best. And that's why it's not about saving someone's promotion. It's about the best taking on the best. You know what? Let me show you some of Twitter. I told you I'm destroying these dudes. One by one, you gonna watch the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. I told you I ain't playing near game with these motherfuckers. Watch. I've been dogging them all day on Twitter. Dogging them. Destroying them. This dude right here, Nathan O'Callaghan. Yeah. I've been destroying the UK, bro. Because I know that's where some of the energy's coming from. And shout out to Muhammad. He was killing them with me. Look. I've been destroying them, man. I told y'all, leave me alone. All right.
Jarrell Miller.
Hey, watch this. This was recorded April 11th, 2019, last week. Listen.
When we had a choice to fight in America, there were two options for us: Jarrell Miller and Luis Ortiz. We went to Madison Square Garden, we went to DAZN, and we said, who would you rather? They say Jarrell Miller. Right? We want an American, great, from Brooklyn, big mouth, great. So that's why. I feel sorry for him.
He was wilder and Joshua.
I feel sorry for him because he's fighting, the people he's fighting are horrendous.
Yeah,
and
he's number one fighter.
No, but his value is going down.
Even your guy, Dillian White.
Dillian White fighting.
Dillian White's not trying to fight. You know he didn't get off in no 2.6 million. Come on.
Luis Ortiz fighting Christian Hammer and stinking the whole arena. Who cares about Luis Ortiz? That's why they're doing a bad job for Luis Ortiz. Luis Ortiz's value after the Wilder fight has gone to the floor.
That was last week, yo. That was last week. It's on my Twitter. So what we talking about? Could y'all hear that? Because I know the video is stuttery because I got a lot going on, like to try to play it. But did you guys hear at least what he was saying? Did y'all hear what he was saying? I know the video was choppy because I had a lot of shit going on. But did you hear what he was saying? He said Luis Ortiz. He said his stock has gone down. Hey, Cursor, unblock that dude. I don't think he was going against New Media. That NBA dude. You couldn't hear it? Okay. Hold on. I don't know. I didn't know it was going to be all choppy. Hold on. I'll play it on a different device. Okay, so this was recorded last week, April 11th.
When we had a choice to fight in America, there were two options for us: Jarrell Miller and Luis Ortiz. We went to Madison Square Garden, we went to DAZN, and we said, who would you rather? They say Jarrell Miller. Right? We want an American, great, from Brooklyn, big mouth, great. So that's why. I feel sorry for him.
He was wilder and Joshua.
I feel sorry for him because he's fighting, the people he's fighting are horrendous.
Yeah,
and
he's number one fighter.
No, but his value is going down.
Even your guy, Dillian White.
Dillian White fighting.
Dillian White's not trying to fight. You know he didn't get off in no 2.6 million. Come on.
Luis Ortiz fighting Christian Hammer and stinking the whole arena out. Who cares about Luis Ortiz? That's why they're doing a bad job for Luis Ortiz. Luis Ortiz's value after the Wilder fight has gone to the floor. When we had a choice to fight.
Now did you hear? Did y'all hear? He said who cares about Luis Ortiz after the Christian Hammer performance? The guys he's fighting is terrible. Who cares about Luis Ortiz after a performance like that? And he stunk it up. And he said Luis Ortiz's value has went from here after the Wilder fight to that's why they're doing a bad job managing him. You guys, I don't know what world you live in where somebody's going to talk reckless about you and you're going to be jumping to work with them. He just said this is last week. He just said that last week. He just said Luis Ortiz. See, because he didn't know Jarrell Miller was going to fail a drug test. So he's pompous, cocky, felt the type of way, didn't hold back, didn't pull punches. And now it came back to bite him. That's it. That's it. That's what happened. Make sure you guys smash the like button. You were talking greasy, and you were talking about how Luis Ortiz is, he basically lost momentum and his profiles went into the ground. Now all of a sudden you want me to believe, even though you could have picked Luis Ortiz, now all of a sudden you want me to believe that he's the one ducking you. Not going to happen. It was all good just a week ago. And I don't know if you guys picked it up. Another thing he said is, the first thing he said in that clip, he says, we presented 2 opponents for Joshua's American debut. 2. We presented to DAZN and Madison Square Garden, fighting either Luis Ortiz or Gerald Miller, and they picked Gerald Miller because he's a trash talker and he's from America. Listen.
When we had a choice to fight in America, there were actually two options for us: Gerald Miller and Luis Ortiz. We went to Madison Square Garden, we went to DAZN, and we said, who would you rather? They say Gerald Miller. Right? We want an American, great, from Brooklyn, big mouth, great. So that's why.
Hear it? So, let me get this straight. Let's back this train up. You're on tape last week admitting that Luis Ortiz was a candidate as well as Gerald Big Baby Miller, and you went to DAZN. You went to DAZN and you went to Madison Square Garden and said, out of these 2, who would you prefer for AJ's coming out party in America? And they said, we want Gerald Miller. So you're on tape admitting that Luis Ortiz was picked against. He was an option and nobody picked. See, look at Edwin. He said it. Karma. Exactly. You're on tape admitting to the world that you guys picked against Luis Ortiz. Now all of a sudden your event has went to shit because of an unfortunate PED test that no one could plan for. And now all of a sudden I'm supposed to believe that Luis Ortiz is the reason if it don't get done. You just told me on tape. You said on tape that you presented those 2 names and you still chose 8. These aren't mandatories. Gerald Miller ain't Joshua's mandatory. Luis Ortiz isn't. It was his mandatory, but isn't currently his mandatory to my knowledge, right? So this is a freebie fight, and you still picked against Luis Ortiz. It's on tape. It's on tape. Ain't nothing you can say. Ain't nothing you can say to new media. It's on tape out his mouth. Once again, new media. I don't have to make this stuff up. All I have to do is let them talk and just hand them the rope. I ain't got to do nothing else. And this was just last week at the Corolla-Lomachenko fight in L.A. And Eddie Hearn was saying, oh, Luis Ortiz stock has dropped and plummeted and went down and won't. Karma. Now your event is falling apart before our eyes. You need a marketable fighter, and you're not going to be able to get the guys you were talking shit about, you know? It is what it is. So it's looking grim for Old Medium. Their leader or whatever is on tape saying that they picked Luis Ortiz has been an option and they picked against him. And see, this is the thing. I don't even think that's true. I don't think they were really looking at Luis Ortiz because what we were hearing was Dillian White or Gerald Miller. But either way, it came back to bite Eddie in the rear end, because if you were lying because you were trying to save face, now that your event's crushed, you're already on tape saying that. I don't think he was really looking at Luis Ortiz, to be honest. Because why would you be looking at Luis Ortiz after he lost to Wilder, but when he was undefeated on Matchroom, that wasn't a fight that was put together? You guys got to ask yourself this stuff. You know what I'm saying? But either way, this is what he put out. This is what he said. So it's a bad look. I thought he was looking at Dillian White and Gerald Miller. But he's claiming that he presented Luis Ortiz because he was clout chasing. Now that's when clout chasing goes wrong. I don't think they were really looking at Luis Ortiz because Luis Ortiz been calling him out. You know? And then now you were clout chasing. Now it came back to bite you because you felt the type of way when the reporter And I told you, you notice how every time Eddie comes to America, the questions are always different. The UK, y'all got to step it up. You know, I love y'all. I like the UK. I used to live there. Y'all got to step it up. There should be no reason that Americans, us Yanks, are asking reasonable questions, you know, and collecting good footage for boxing fans worldwide. And then when Eddie Hearn goes to UK, he's doing hour and a half long interviews where he's comfortable and smiling and jovial and making jokes, not questioning on anything he says, not, you know, checked for consistency. Shout out to Cali Enigma and Town Business. Correct. They concluded that interview with Eddie Hearn. Correct. California, I told you, us Cali boys got it going on. We West Side connected. So that clout chasing went wrong because now, last week, Eddie Hearn, that's what I told y'all. DAZN put Eddie Hearn in charge. He liked to be all in the video. And it's coming back to bite him because he's saying a lot. Once again, this is how you know race is a part of boxing. These motherfuckers, people rather hate Al Heyman, who doesn't do one interview. No one sees him. You know, this dude can be in a wheelchair or something. We don't even know who what the fuck, aside from some Google pictures, like 3. And people hate Al Heyman. And he ain't even doing it. He ain't even saying nothing. Everything that's coming from him is coming from his, like, minions and people he has working for his company. But they hate him. Meanwhile, we see these contradictions from actual promoters who do interviews that are on YouTube and shit. Looking bad for old media. I've been destroying them on Twitter. I was giving them that work. Just look at some of these arguments. Look. If 7 weeks is short notice, then okay. Look at this dude. What the fuck is he trying to do, a Maxwell cover? Pray God you can go. Stand outside. The fuck is that picture, bro? Look at it. Who the fuck is this, bro? Pray God you can stand outside. This woman's wearing on a man. That is of the field. Like, who the fuck? I know you got a lot of life in you, girl. I know you got. Should be crying when I just ain't let. Who the fuck is this dude, bro? Get these Maxwell looking motherfuckers the fuck on my shit, bro. It should be crying when I just can't let you. Who the fuck is this? I told y'all need to lose 7 weeks. See? Same shit. 7 weeks. It's like these motherfuckers just hear someone say it and just run with it. Like, remember on Total Recall, that bitch was like at the airport and he's like, how long are you going to be on your trip? And she was like, 2 weeks. And he's like, do you have any fruits or vegetables? She was like, 2 weeks. And she started like malfunctioning. And she started really wigging out. Remember that? He's like, how long are you going to be on your vacation? 2 weeks. Are you carrying on board any fruits or vegetables? 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. That's these motherfuckers. Somebody, one of the old, media fucking grand wizards or whatever said something about 7 weeks, and these motherfuckers, 7 weeks. 7 weeks. 7 weeks. Like, these motherfuckers just repeat the same shit over and over and over again. And then it was Arnold. 2 weeks. in Copenhagen. Like, oh man. I should be crying, but they just can't admit they wrong, bro. I was destroying them on Twitter. Look. I'm not saying it's his obligation to take the fight. I'm saying it's a good opportunity for him. And fighters have come into fights with days' notice and still put up good fights and sometimes won. These motherfuckers, I don't know who they thought I was, bro. You know, and sometimes won. They've put on days' notice. So just because motherfuckers have done it, like I've had sex without a condom, that doesn't mean it's recommended. These people say stupid shit. Yeah, some guys have fought on 2 days' notice. Okay, am I right? Yeah, I've done a lot of shit. I've hopped barbed wire fences before. Doesn't mean it's recommended. You fucking morons. You know, I've had sex without a condom. That doesn't mean it's some shit you supposed to be. Yeah, motherfucker. Yeah, move. That don't mean you supposed to be all up in it like that. You know, y'all better have safe sex with the latex and start to play less, like the play tech. You know what I'm saying? That don't mean you supposed to be all over. Yeah, look at me doing the Dougie. You don't mean you're supposed to be doing some shit. Talking about, yeah, because people have done it and won. Okay, who gives a shit? That doesn't mean it's recommended. That's what you're supposed to be doing. Hey, my dude Muhammad, he was backing me up. He Ego Army. Look at this. Ugh. He says, bro, Ortiz isn't some low-level bum with no way of getting a shot again. This isn't a situation where he is in desperate need of money or the opportunity. Why take it when he will more than likely be a mandatory challenger very, very soon and will have a fight against him? You see how Ego's Army be? We be rebuttaling and responding and destroying them. Look, and then when I started killing him, look at what he put. The dude. He said, all right, don't get why you're getting so touchy about it. I said close to 7, then 6. Because I said to him, I said, just admit you're wrong. No, hold on. I said, you said it was close to 7 weeks. Now you're saying it's 6 weeks. Which one is it? These dudes are, I'm telling you, they all over the place, man. Just pack it up. Pack it in. Just hold the L. Y'all gonna Gerald Miller, he's the one that failed. You gonna blame PBC. What the fuck? Here's another point. We just getting started. What happened to DAZN happens to every promoter. Injuries happen. People cheat and fail drug tests. Happened to the UFC before. But we'll stick to boxing. How come when Jermall Charlo was going to open the Fox Premier Boxing Champs, the very first telecast since the marriage and partnership of Fox working with Premier Boxing Champs, you know, in this modern era, you know, on a 4-year pact or contract or whatever, Charlo lost his opponent, Willie Monroe Jr., to same situation. He failed a drug test. He was with Snack and I don't know what happened. He failed a drug test. So their main event got compromised. How come DAZN, Eddie Hearn, whoever, did not send Triple G over to fight Charlo, even though the WBC wanted it? Block Sheridan. When Charlo, his main event got compromised on a Fox main event, the very first Fox main event on PBC, how come DAZN didn't send Demetrius Andrade? How come they didn't send Golovkin? How come? when Gervonta Tank Davis was doing a step-up opponent versus Abner Mares, how come Golden Boy didn't ring up and say, hey, we'll send you Ryan Garcia. We'll put him on your card. You know, how come Eddie Hearn didn't phone PBC and say, hey, we heard about what happened to Abner Mares. It's unfortunate. I'll send Tevin Farmer over to see you. How come? And then all of a sudden, because you guys are maniacs and getting destroyed and trying to, you know, you pinned yourself into a corner, basically. You pinned yourself into a corner. Now you're trying to justify it. Now you're trying to blame PBC. But how come nobody sent, when PBC went through it in those fights, they didn't send Tevin Farmer for Tank to substitute for Abner Mares. They didn't send reinforcements, Miguel Berchelt. They didn't send Ryan Garcia. When Charlo needed an opponent because Willie Monroe failed a drug test, same scenario. Last minute, important fight, new deal with Fox. They didn't send Triple G. They didn't send Andrade or Selesky or Gabe Rosado or somebody that they had. But all of a sudden, it's Al Heyman's fault that Gerald Miller failed a drug test, a DAZN fighter. All of a sudden, it's Luis Ortiz's fault, and he's supposed to step up because it's all about the best versus the best. But that's funny to me. Here's why. Because I get the best versus best. These dudes have no, what's the word? I'm trying to think of the best word. No shame. Old media has no shame. You get me? Old media has no shame. Like, they will argue with you till their face turns blue about dumb shit. Integrity is a good one too. They have no shame. I'm gonna use shame. I like shame in this situation. They will argue and argue and argue and berate you, call you names, call you stupid over certain things, all to come full circle, like 180. You know, you were right here and now you're right here. You did a complete 180. That's what they're willing to do. They have no shame in there. It's like a crackhead or something. You know, a crackhead don't care if, you know, his shirt has holes in it. You know, if he's asking a pretty girl for money and haven't brushed his teeth, he don't care about that stuff. That's how old media is. Just like got these teeth, please, man. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care how dumb they look. For example, the whole time that I was saying Luis Ortiz was a great fight, there's a lot of people in the UK and just a lot of people in old media in general who were resisting, saying Luis Ortiz, what has he done? Or he already lost to Wilder, or he's, 90 years old. And they weren't backing me. They weren't saying, oh, yeah, this is a great fight. Now the DAZN card is falling apart. Now all of a sudden you're changing it and you're talking about it's the best versus the best. But here's where you fucked up. How is it the best versus the best now? But when I was saying it for years, it wasn't the best for best then. How is it the best for best now when Anthony Joshua had every opportunity to not fight Klitschko, or even after he beat Klitschko, to fight Luis Ortiz? Luis Ortiz was signed with Rematch Room at a point in time. So now you're all about the best versus the best now because you want DAZN to succeed. You want Eddie Hearn to succeed. You want Anthony Joshua to succeed. But before you were berating, denigrating Luis King Kong Ortiz, insulting him, calling him old, saying he's overrated, saying this, that. But now all of a sudden you're about the best versus the best. So something you're saying is lying. Either you knew he was a good-ass fighter and you were trying to minimize it because you knew he was a threat, which is what I think it is, or something. Because how is it the best versus the best on late notice, but under a full camp when motherfuckers like me and King Corleone were trying to push for this fight and advocate for this fight to happen? You had no care in the world about the fight happening. You going strong today, ego, smoke some more haters. This is easy. I'm loving it, like McDonald's. You get what I'm saying? Now that it's people are like, oh, it's about the best versus the best and a chance for all the 4 belts. Again, they're fake. They're actor. I ain't no actor. I'm just me. They some actors. Now all of a sudden they playing the role like, oh, why wouldn't Luis Ortiz take it? It's a chance for all the 4 belts, a chance of title shot and recognition, and you could beat him and you'll make good money, and you're 40. Now it's all this shit. But we've been telling y'all to see Luis Ortiz versus AJ under fair terms where both fighters knew about it in the rightful time. In fact, what makes new media so cutting edge is I told you Gerald Miller, in my opinion, was less deserving. And I know Gerald, but I told you before the drug test shit. From the moment this fight was announced, I think that Luis Ortiz definitely should have been the first person outside of Wilder or Fury to get the Joshua fight. And if it weren't him, it should have been Dillian White. I told you these things. That's what makes new media so great. Because I told you that then, before a failed drug test. And y'all were like, oh, who cares, Luis Ortiz? No. All right. And then now he failed a drug test, and the event is suffering because it. Now all of a sudden, you're about the best versus the best. Get the fuck out of here. These dudes is fake. These dudes is actors. They are true to life actors. You know, the whole time me, and there's other people like Cali Enigma, shout out to him. He's the one that talked to Eddie Hearn. Just then, him and Town were talking to Eddie Hearns, and then you go look at it and people are like, oh no, man, what has Luis Ortiz done and all this stupid shit. Now all of a sudden, DAZN's in a bind, lose out on a major fight in an opponent. Now all of a sudden everybody's like, come on, it's about the best versus the best. Surely you want to see the best versus the best. No, you're not. We're not playing this game. Now it's the best versus the best, huh? Look, this is the interview where Luis Ortiz was brought up on Town's page. Eddie Hearn buoyed you. He too slick for you American pricks. Boom. Guan, Eddie boy. 4 days ago. 13 likes. See? Ain't one person, because this is post-dated. So at the time of recording this video, it's too late. Because you guys can't go back and hurry up and add comments because I already have the screen pulled up. Look. LDBC militants all over Eddie Hearn but don't know how to ask questions and listen to answers. All they know is how to push their back and front backwards narratives. Ain't nobody saying Eddie Hearn, he should have answered them Luis Ortiz questions. Well, I can't say nobody, but look. And this is why you guys are getting destroyed. Shout out to Town. Eddie Hearn makes these dudes look like idiots all the time. You see? Eddie Hearn makes these dudes look like idiots all the time. Get them. Look. So this is the interview where he was talking shit about Luis Ortiz. And look at the comments. Eddie telling it like it is. Eddie owned them all. See? You got some explaining to do. Eddie owned them all.
This the real deal. This the real deal. This the real deal. Easy work.
NBA King David, appreciate you. Ego Valley saved my life. Hey, I seen how they try to get you, bro. I had to call off that hit. That was fucked up. I see how that shooter tried to get you, bro. So anyway, that's the type of shit you were seeing.
This the real deal. This the real deal. This the real deal.
Easy work. $2 super chat. How many times has AJ's fight fell through? I'm not sure. But the point I'm making is you didn't see none of them dudes. Either people were propping for a good interview, giving props to Town and Cali Enigma for that, or the Eddie Hearn protectors there was no cries of sympathy for Luis Ortiz, because guess what? AJ already had his plans. He was in camp. Jerome Miller was in camp, and everything was good to go. You know, everything was good to go. And this was just last week, and you didn't see not one person, not one fucking person stand up for Luis Ortiz outside of the people who have been standing up for Luis Ortiz. You know, like myself and Cali Enigma, who was asking Eddie Hearn these questions, right? And then now people who, once again, the shapeshifters, have never supported Luis Ortiz, have never pushed for him to get the opportunity versus Joshua. Now all of a sudden they're trying to make it like we the enemy, like we don't want, we're new media is ducking. Comical, isn't it? Here's my video. Here's a video I did about Luis Ortiz. Look, people are saying Joshua should respond like a true professional. Look, y'all, this is my video. Y'all going down. I told you, I'm doing it for the culture. I'm doing it for new media. Why should Joshua, this is when Luis Ortiz was calling him out. Why, 4 months ago, why should Joshua respond to trash talk? You say it's not a good look for AJ. So he admitted what I said in the video. He said, you said it's not a good look for AJ not to respond to Wilder, Fury, and Ortiz. Look. He's responding to my video where Luis Ortiz, this is one of them, one of many from 4 months ago, and Eddie Clark, let's see if he ever shows up. Why should AJ, Joshua, respond to trash talk? You say it's not a good look for AJ not to respond to trash talk from Wilder, Fury, and Ortiz. I totally disagree. It's not a good look for anyone to trash talk, for me trashing. You see? These dudes are getting exposed left, right, and center. For me trashing, look. This is all the long ass shit. This is what the type of shit they was talking about. Now all of a sudden they love Luis Ortiz. It's funny how that works. Look. These motherfuckers writing recipes and shit. Look, they writing recipes. For me, trashing someone shows a lot about your character reference. There's too many big mouth trash talkers and not enough gentlemen's. That sounds real soft. In boxing, and it's good to see AJ as one of the gentlemen out of a sea of trash talkers. So now all of a sudden, I'm the bad guy. I'm the one who doesn't want to see Luis Ortiz get an opportunity. That's how we're playing it? When he just admitted, he said, you said it's not a good look for AJ to not respond. So obviously I said that in the video. It's not a good look that Fury's bad-mouthing him and calling him out, Wilder's calling him out, and Luis Ortiz is calling him out, and he's not responding. Then dude coming out, and I just randomly clicked on one of my old videos. It's looking, I told you, we're not stopping. Look, the UK big mad, look. I love watching this channel in the comments. Y'all hates and negativity for AJ always gives me a good laugh. Crying emoji. Well, 4 months later, who's laughing now? Look. All because Luis Ortiz called out Joshua and I made a video for it. Your video is thumbs down, 3 thumbs down, 6 likes, receipts. Once again, I'm just looking at comments. Damn, Khalid Mays, he predicted the future. Look what he put. Where the AJ fanboys at? They have been awfully quiet. See? Look. Oh my, I'm bodying y'all. Look, this is my video, y'all. Champ, it's the champ. Look. See, that's what happens. You can't post date. You can't change the dates on this stuff. Look what he said. Who cares what Luis Ortiz thinks? He has... I'll just read it because I don't know. It's not focusing. Nah, fuck that. I want y'all to be able to read it with me so you know it's not... I don't know why it's not focusing. Hold on. Who cares what Ortiz thinks? He has never been a champ, nor has he beat anyone elite. No first time he got a shot. He got sparked out, and he's a drug cheat. So anything he think... Look. So anything Luis Ortiz says or thinks is irrelevant. 10 likes from Edelman, whatever, 4 months ago. Oh, man. It's looking bad, old media. Once again, new media is right. He said he's irrelevant. He's a drug cheat. He's who cares what he thinks. Now you motherfuckers is coming up talking about, oh, Luis Ortiz, it's the best versus the best. Because you don't want to see the DAZN card and the Anthony Joshua card fail. Oh. But then, meanwhile, the motherfuckers who've been pushing for the fight and really been pushing for the fight, and y'all motherfuckers just got here, you know, saying the bullshit. Now you trying to act like we don't want to see it. This shit is funny, bro. Appetite for Destruction, $2 super chat. Joshua Man fans only want bum fights. Hey, yo, crazy. So, yeah, you guys got some work to do. So that's my thoughts on the fight. Listen, if Eddie Hearn can somehow soothe it over and get Luis Ortiz, cool, but I doubt it. And the other thing is this, is you can't, like, how you gonna get mad at another promoter for having a game plan? You know what I'm saying? You don't know what they have planned. Like, there could be a card that the world doesn't know about, that's already been planned and in the works, including Luis Ortiz. But they got to drop everything they're doing to put him in a position. And the other thing is Luis Ortiz is a I killed this dude on Twitter. What he said was something like, hold on, let me see if I can find it. I want you to see, bro. I told you I'm running through them. I'm running through these arguments. I'm running through these arguments. Watch me. Hold on. One by one, running through all of it. Hold on. I'm trying. I have so many people were like trying to argue with me. So I'm sorry, it's taking a little bit to find the exact comment. This is funny. Make sure you guys smash the like button. Damn, there's hella comments. I'm really trying to find it. I really don't see where. See, look. This is new media shit. He said, this guy said, don't even know why the hell DAZN would pick Miller over Ortiz. If Ortiz had time to prepare for Joshua, I think he would have a legit chance of winning the fight. That's a great and see, I jammed a dude up and he disappeared. He never answered my question. That's another thing y'all are good for. Not answering the question. Oh, here it is. Hold on. Look, listen. Hey, these dudes is getting trashed. Hold on. I'm trashing them. Smash the like button. I found it finally. Look at these weak ass arguments. His name is Real Boxing Fan. He says, I know that's what I said. AJ won't fight him under any other circumstance, unfortunately. So Luis Ortiz should take the risk and the money and agree to fight him. Can't see him getting the opportunity to fight AJ again anytime soon. So take the risk if you feel you can win. See, that's some bullshit. His name is Real Boxing Fan. And I said, this is what I said. Look at what I said. I said, well, if AJ won't fight him under any other circumstance and he's a top-rated heavyweight, that's a bigger problem, no? And then the guy had nothing to look, he said, look, no doubt, but unfortunately that's the boxing game at the minute. Nah, bro. See, y'all condoning bullshit. So basically what he was saying was Luis Ortiz should use this scare tactic because he's 40, he don't know when if Joshua will ever fight him again. So he needs to just fight him on short notice because this is probably going to be the only time he gets it. That's a weak-ass argument. And the bigger question is, if he continues to be a top-rated fighter, he being Luis King Kong Ortiz, then why are we making exemptions and exceptions for Joshua to not fight him? So that makes no sense. I can't even float with no argument like that. Block bury his shit. Just block him. Yeah, we can't bury your shit. We can't stand it. Get him out of here. Bury his shit. Elohim. See, you see these weak ass arguments they be coming up with? Oh yeah, Luis Ortiz, he should just hurry up and take it because AJ, this is the only time AJ will fight him. So let me get this straight. So AJ, a champion, when there's not even that many guys to fight that are at the top level, he'll only fight Luis Ortiz on short notice? That's what you're telling me? That's a bigger problem then. If you have a champion and a high-rated guy and he's not going to fight Wilder or Tyson Fury, and you have Gerald Miller's probably going to be out for a minute because he failed a drug test. So who else is he going to fight? So that's another reason, just like Wilder turning down the $100 million, you guys have no long-term, some of you guys have no long-term way of thinking. You heard $100 million and you were sold. Wilder said, I'm about to bet on myself, which is the smarter game plan. See how Tyson Fury looks. See, what happens with DAZN in the next couple fights. And guess what? Wilder bet on himself, didn't take the $100 million. Joshua's next fight, which is one that DAZN needed to be a success, is all up to shit. So guess what? It's getting to the point where DAZN might have to start breaking even more bread or being willing to work with somebody else. How long can they do this with Triple G Steve Rolls? How long can they do this with AJ versus whoever? If PBC and Top Rank stall them out and don't send someone over, how long can they do this with those level fights? You have Francisco Estrada versus Sor Rungvisai. Tickets ain't even sold out yet. The rematch, the first fight was on regular HBO. The rematch, you got to pay $20 a month for. Golovkin is fighting Steve Rolls. Some guy with the bakery or some shit. I don't know. Fucking picking rolls and shit, bro. And then Canelo Jacobs is a good fight, but honestly, I don't feel like it's been really talked about. I heard LeBron's doing some series, but the fight's around the corner. shit, he didn't make the playoffs. He better get on that series ASAP, because I ain't seen too much promotion for that. So you guys always want to jump the gun type shit. Oh, he needs to take this. Okay. Name some reasonable people that Anthony Joshua can fight. If he doesn't fight Wilder and he doesn't fight Luis Ortiz, who else is he going to fight? Miller, we don't even know what's up. Unless he can clear his name, he's probably getting suspended. And I don't know how big a rematch would be if he can't clear his name. Because people will be like, oh, he failed the first test. Or he failed 2 tests in his career. And it was not like he was the biggest star to begin with. Like Canelo or something. So who is he going to fight? I just read an article that said Tyson Fury and Joshua is not likely. Despite Eddie Hearn and Bob Arum working together. So who is he going to fight? The waiting game makes the most sense. Who is he going to fight? Joshua already beat Brazil. Wilder about to fight Brazil. Joshua already beat Povetkin. I don't think really anyone wants to see Klitschko AJ Part 2. Who's he going to fight? See, once again, I told you, all this shit will be shown over time. Who the fuck is Tommy Gunn? Is that from Rocky? Hey yo, Tommy, you trying to fight? Hey yo, Tommy, what did I do wrong? Who the fuck is Tommy Gunn? I think that's Tommy Morrison character. You see? And y'all telling him, oh, Luis Ortiz needs to jump. So Luis Ortiz needs to have an improper camp and jump at the fight. Okay. We gonna see. Like I said, I don't think me personally, I wouldn't do it. You got to look at it too. Luis Ortiz is 40. He already fought for a title and lost. So he needs to give his best account of himself. I'm not saying he would even lose on short notice, on 5 weeks notice. I'm not saying that. But if he were to fight Joshua, and if he did lose, then at age 40, with all these other up-and-comer, that wouldn't be a good look for him. You feel what I'm saying? So he needs to be calculated and trust in his team and trust that a big fight's going to come back around. And don't they try to use scare tactics to get you motherfuckers off your pivot, 2 weeks notice and all this shit. So he needs, at age 40, Luis Ortiz needs to make his moves count for him. He needs to make his moves count. I don't know if he could beat Joshua in general. I think he has what it takes to beat him. But, it's a good fight. Joshua's still good and strong or whatever. But putting yourself in a position where you don't even have a full camp, I wouldn't do that because, people are going to write you off if you lose 2 title shots in 2 years or whatever it's been. You know what I mean? Then you have to build back hella shit. And here's the other people. Here's the other thing. Notice the old media tactics per usual. Al Heyman, the black guy, is being blamed once again. The black channel? Why would the black? Al Heyman is. Why would? Once again, Al Heyman has nothing to do with DAZN. Al Heyman has nothing to do with anyone outside of Premier Boxing Champs, Showtime, and Fox, right? Somehow Al Heyman, Joseph Brown, Hearn has a list of fighters, Ortiz at the top. They're never fight the guy at the top of the list. He will fight the last guy on that list, Hunter. That's my bet. I mean, he's doing the same thing Top Rank did with Pacquiao. Same thing. They'll be like, Pacquiao might fight Broner, Mikey Garcia, Danny Garcia, Amir Khan, Floyd rematch, all these good names, or Tim Bradley 3. And they'll be like, ooh, shit, all them other ones sound good. And then he don't fight none of them, and then he fight Tim Bradley 3. Come on, bro. We see. It's just too easy to see. But here's the thing. Somehow they're blaming Al Heyman. Why is it his responsibility? Why is it his responsibility to save Al Heyman? I mean, save Eddie Hearn's event. When he was in distress, when his own events, people failed drug tests or got injured, Eddie Hearn didn't run and shoot him some people that would have made for better fights. They had to figure it out. Charlo had to figure it out when Willie Monroe failed a drug test. They came up with Korobov. Eddie Hearn didn't send Andrade over. You know? So what are we talking about? When Gervonta Tank Davis event got ruined, and that was just in December and February. In February, Tank's opponent got ruined. You know, Abner Matas got hurt. Eye injury. He absolutely couldn't compete. They didn't send Tevin Farmer from DAZN. So why do you guys think? See, you guys, I don't know if it's a UK thing. I used to live there, but I don't know if this is what the UK's become. But it's getting bad if there's that sense of entitlement. You think you're entitled to anything like that? Like, you have, someone said, this dude was trying to argue with me, and he was like, Joshua, why would, like, here's my point. Al Heyman don't owe anything to anybody other than to his business. Just like I have a boxing channel, my priority is my boxing channel. I don't owe anything to anybody, right? Except for the fans. So a DAZN fighter fails a drug test. Somebody that is co-promoted in promotion, in association with DAZN, failed a drug test. So Eddie Hearn's fans have this sense of entitlement, or the UK or whoever, where Al Heyman has to rectify that. This ain't his issue. This ain't his fight. And these motherfuckers, we're not doing the bullshit under this fake-ass guise of we want the best versus the best. That is done because I have 8 videos, and I just showed you some of the clips from one video, some of the comments, and then people were making excuses why Luis Ortiz, no one cares what he thinks, and you guys love hating on AJ, and why should AJ fight Luis Ortiz? He already lost to Wilder. This is what you guys are saying. Now you know, Eddie Hearn was just talking shit about Luis Ortiz last week. Said his value is, I just showed you the clip. And you think it's up to Al Heyman to figure it out for his event? I don't know what world y'all live in. You know, I don't know what world you guys live in where you think that's what's going to happen. You know, so someone can disrespect your brand, take shots as your brand, take shots at that individual camp, say their value and their last fight was trash and horrendous, and then they got to come play Captain Saver and save the day. No. Here's the other thing. How come I was killing them on Twitter? I'm really just kind of playing back some of the stuff that was discussed on Twitter. How come Murat Gassiev is moving to heavyweight? He just got announced for DAZN. Put him in there with AJ. He's a DAZN fighter. You know, he's a big puncher. He's like 6'3". So put him in there with it. They're like, no, why should he? Listen, this is DAZN's issue. This is Eddie Hearn. They got to make it work. They got to make it work. So maybe that's not ideal, but I mean, it's like you guys want a pity party. Oh, I found it. Yes. Here, this is the dude I was talking to. Just so you can see it, I'm going to just read it. Look, Murat Gassiev, welcome to the team, and he's moving to heavyweight from cruiserweight. So I'm going to just read the thread. Somebody from the UK, again, Nathan, because I looked at his page. Nathan O'Callahan, bizarre mindset. For Ortiz, this should be an opportunity to fight for the belts, not to save a DAZN card. So I'm going to read this shit to you. and you tell me what argument makes more sense. I said, so PBC and Luis Ortiz got to spring up and save this DAZN card and the AJ fight? Question mark. Why not Anthony Joshua versus Dillian White Part 2 at Madison Square Garden? How about cancel the Usyk fight with Takam in the U.S. and pay Takam some step-aside money? Or the new DAZN heavyweight that was announced, Murat Gassiev. All in-house fights, but you want to blame the PBC. LOL. This dude tried to respond, and I had to chew him up. Nathan O'Callahan. He said, that's a bizarre mindset. For Ortiz, this should be an opportunity to fight for the belts, not to save a DAZN card. You see how they try to sound heroic, like so noble? Oh, it's not about saving the DAZN card. Luis should do this for the opportunity. Like these motherfuckers cared about Luis Ortiz. The whole 2 years I've been pressing and putting on foot on the gas to see Luis Ortiz stop being the boogeyman and start getting these title shots. These motherfuckers were never around. Now, like I said, to save the DAZN card, which is a travesty right now, unless they pull out a wild card, now all of a sudden there's so much compassion for the well-being of Luis Ortiz. Get the fuck out of here. So anyway, he says, it's this kind of mindset that is ruining boxing. It's not PBC versus DAZN. It's Joshua versus Ortiz. You see how they try to have like they're just so noble. He says, look at this. I start bodying this man. He said, on top of this, White, Usyk, and Gassiev make no sense in the United States. Do better. He tried to put that last little smart comment. So, cause I recommended in-house DAZN fights to fix a DAZN mishap instead of blaming the PBC. He says, on top of this, White, Usyk, and Gassiev, those fights make no sense in the United States. Do better. All right. If y'all want to see how I chew this man up, can I get a hell yeah in the comment section? Oh my, I've been bodying them all day, bro. Just tell me what logic's making sense. He's saying basically this falls on PBC's shoulders and Luis needs to do it for the opportunity. And then as soon as I recommended Eddie Hearns is stable, DAZN fighters, rematch room fighters, he's like, no, those don't make sense. I clapped it, bro. I be talking shit too. Y'all want to talk shit to me? Let's get it. I say, you're slow. So a Cuban from an opposing network, that makes sense, but not Usyk, Dillian White, etc. And his talking point was that those fights don't make sense in the United States. AJ versus Usyk doesn't make sense in the United States. Gassiev doesn't make sense in the United States. Dillian White doesn't make sense in the United States. So what I said is, how come Usyk is fighting Carlos Takam in Maryland, USA? Huh? Dummy. You see, the great thing about new media, no matter what you guys try to do, we have an answer. Just like Errol Spence versus Mikey Garcia. Mikey was like, fuck, I tried to switch this, and he had an answer. He had an answer for everything we try to do. Everything you guys try to do, I'm on some Errol Spence shit. I have an answer for everything that you guys are, because I know what they try to do. His talking point was Dillian White, Usyk, and Murat Gassiev make no sense for the United States. So how come Usyk is fighting in May against Carlos Takam, a guy from France and a guy from the Ukraine? Plus, Tyson Fury, a guy from the UK, is fighting in Las Vegas against Tom Schwartz on ESPN, who nobody has fucking heard of. So, first of all, beggars can't be choosers. Gerald Miller messed up this event. DAZN got to fix it to appease the customer and the consumer base. Otherwise, they're going to be in for it with returns and, low traction for a less than desired event. So I'm just trying to help suggest fights that they could readily make to fix the problem. So Why is Usyk even fighting in America versus Carlos Takam in Maryland? But then Usyk can't fight AJ. And they've talked about AJ. I can understand that's not ideal. It's not ideal. But Usyk should be I've seen him training. He's training for Takam right now. So he don't have to get ready. Why don't he's sparred with Klitschko, just like Joshua has, even when he was a cruiserweight. So why don't they want to do that? See, once again, DAZN doesn't want to crack any of their eggs. They don't want to put Usyk in there with AJ on their turn. But Luis Ortiz is supposed to do it. Usyk is in camp right now. I just seen pictures. I'd seen a video. He was on the speed bag. He's fighting in May. I could get it, Ideally, you wouldn't want your first fight to be Anthony Joshua necessarily. But hey, you want to save your event, you got to do it. But they don't want that. They don't want DAZN fighters to have to be under, see, when it's Luis Ortiz, this is the old media tactics. When it's Luis Ortiz, a PBC guy, even though he has ill time to prepare with everything considered, they're lying and saying it's 7 weeks, even though I just showed you it's not 7 weeks, right? But they're using this 7 weeks bullshit. Okay, why doesn't Usyk take it then? It's 7 weeks, like you said, right? So he's already in camp for Carlos Takam. Why don't he just switch gears and train for AJ? He's a gold medalist. He cleaned house at a division. It's an opportunity at all the belts. So why don't he do it? Why are you banking on Luis Ortiz to do it? The guy who's 40, who you said is overrated and all this shit, and he's not really the boogeyman. Why isn't Usyk doing it? Why doesn't he jump for the opportunity? Why is Murad Gassiev not jump out for the opportunity? That's what I'm saying. There's more to it. Ain't nobody just going to jump in when it don't make sense for them. And look, this is what he said. I'm killing him. He said Usyk is not a name in the U.S. or a proven heavyweight. He's not a name in the U.S., then why is he fighting Carlos Takam in the U.S.? No matter where you guys try to go, you guys are trapped. He said Usyk is not a name in the U.S., then why does DAZN have him fighting in Maryland, a week after Wilder? I'm destroying these dudes. He said, also, I don't care what networks fighters are on. Yeah. It's the best versus the best now. But for the last 2 years, when I was pushing for Wilder to get the AJ fight, when I was pushing for Luis Ortiz to get the fight, you didn't care. You cared, told AJ it was the boss and Wilder had to go over there. And now all of a sudden you don't care what networks it's on. And listen, look at this. Look what he put. He says, also, I don't care about what networks fighters are on. I want the best fighters facing each other in the ring. To my earlier point, this crap is ruining boxing. Now, in closing, the funny thing is this. New media is so effective that we force people in some shape, form, or fashion to go against what they previously said. Because it is so painstakingly obvious that they are wrong, they have no choice but to, come with some better shit or some more updated shit. Case in point, this guy said, oh yeah, I don't care about networks, again, trying to sound heroic and noble. I don't care about all the network stuff. I want to see the best versus the best. But when I, for the last 2 years, was telling AJ to fight Wilder or Luis Ortiz, these same motherfuckers was not backing me up. They weren't backing me up. But now all of a sudden, they're trying to give Luis Ortiz all these props that they could have been giving him for the last 2 years, but they didn't. All these dudes from the UK were not giving Luis Ortiz. They were saying he was old. They were saying he was overrated. They were bringing up bad performances with Dave Allen and Malik Scott. They were saying, his legs, he don't have the same legs, and he ain't this, and Joshua shouldn't respond to trash talkers, and he's unprofessional. and he already lost a while. They were not backing up the fight should happen. Now, fast forward to the future, Josh was in a bind. He lost his opponent. Conveniently, now the narrative is, oh, I'm about the best versus the best. So how wasn't this the best versus the best when he could have been had the fight for years? Now you're trying to give Luis Ortiz his props on late notice. These dudes is clowns. Clowns. Here's the other thing. I didn't show you all that, but I'll just paraphrase. I jammed this dude up. These dudes don't even know where I'm going with this, so they always get crossed up and destroyed in these arguments. But anyway, what he was saying, and conveniently after I brought up this point, he had no response, and he instead reverted back to something that we had tweeted 3 tweets ago. So instead of answering the current last question in the last tweet, he went back to something. He avoided the question, ducked the question, and went back to something we had said earlier. But here, I'll give it to you guys. I'll say the same thing that I said to him. Ready? Make sure you guys smash the like button. When you guys are ready to hear this point, can I get a hell yeah? I'm cooking these boys. When you guys are ready to hear it, can I get a hell yeah? The more hell yes, the quicker I'll do it. All right. I'm getting warmed up. This question is for everybody. Why or how was the selection process made for Joshua to fight Gerald Big Baby Miller in New York instead, before the failed drug test? I'm not talking about any of that.
This the real deal. This the real deal. This the real deal. Easy work.
Pause your super chats for a second after this. Shout out to Justin. He said, talk to him. Talk to him in my battle rap voice. Hell yeah. Don DeMarco, Marco. All right, peep it. How and why was Gerald Big Baby Miller ever selected for Anthony Joshua's next opponent over Luis Ortiz to begin with? That's my question. Very simple, very straightforward. Why did AJ choose Gerald Big Baby Miller over? Why did he choose Gerald Miller over Luis Ortiz to begin with? Because this, I told you from the beginning, was my issue. Why? How did he? I said the Miller fight's not horrible, but how did he pick him? Because Luis Ortiz is too hard for Joshua. What else? Anybody else? Why did Gerald Miller get the opportunity before Luis Ortiz? And Luis Ortiz was Joshua's old mandatory. This wasn't a mandatory title defense. This was a freebie fight. No obligation. Eddie Hearn's been on record saying Joshua's free, and he might have to deal with mandatories later in the year. So this is a freebie fight. Block Elijah. Lower risk. Block Elijah. Luis Ortiz is high risk compared to Miller. Ooh, new media up in here. How was he picked over? How was Gerald Miller selected over? How and why was he selected over Dillian White? When you look at what Dillian White accomplished in 2018, I get why the Wilder fight's not happening. I mean, I don't really get it, but that's a harder fight to make, whatever. But Dillian White is an in-house fight, just like Miller was. And then you also had the Luis Ortiz option. Miller's a local boy. Stop it, bro. G90, stop it. So just because he's from New York, that's how we're doing it. So explain how just him being from New York is enough to push through a big American debut. You talking about because he local. Easier fight to break into the U.S. market. Why not break into a Luis Ortiz? If you want him so bad now, why don't you use that? No, you don't see old media coming up with no answers. Only new media. I told you it's looking sad. No one can answer this. No one can answer this. The old and vouch for old media as to how Miller was even selected over White and Luis Ortiz to begin with. And now that Dillian White knows how much Gerald Miller was reported to get after the fight got canceled, I'm curious to see how much they even offered him. UK don't want to lose them straps. See? That's what I'm saying. So, once again, what they're saying makes no sense. Because if they wanted Luis Ortiz so bad, they could have picked him over Miller. Eddie Hearn is on camera saying Luis Ortiz was an option, but we picked against him. And DAZN and MSG picked Miller instead. They can't answer a simple question. How did Miller get selected from jump over Dillian White and over Luis Ortiz? And then we wouldn't even be worried about nothing. He wouldn't risk belts fighting Ortiz on late notice. See? So if he's not going to fight Luis Ortiz on late notice, if you feel that, then why would he fight him on the full camp? So once again, there's your answer. This wasn't about we really wanted Luis Ortiz because you had the opportunity to fight him. If you really want him, you could have made Joshua Luis Ortiz. But this is what the spin doctors on old media aren't going to tell you. They're going to make it look like it's Luis Ortiz's fault. Like he's ducking. Sad. Eddie Hearn is scared to death to lose to Al Heyman. So it is what it is. But like I said, don't try to this Eddie Hearn and AJ keep doing the old switcheroo. It's getting old. It's getting old. You know? It's getting old. Like basically people are chasing you down to fight you, and then a string of events happen, and then they try to flip it and make it look like they've been chasing these people down. Okay. Hey, if you really think people are buying that, then okay. Good luck with that. But once again, you can't blame a whole separate, like, if this, see, this is what I'm saying. Y'all need to start a business. I have one. Y'all need to start one. If you don't already have one, you need to get one. If Burger King blows up or gets burnt down, you know what I'm saying? If Burger King gets burnt down, McDonald's ain't really finna be there with water buckets trying to help them. This business shit is cutthroat. Y'all know that. You think if Burger King in your local city were to burn down, McDonald's is sending reinforcements and like fries and cash register, like an extra cash register they had in the back so they can cook outside and shit. Come on, bro. And then when you couple that with the fact that Eddie Hearn does a lot of interviews and he does a lot of talking and he's taking a lot of shots and he's mentioned a lot of people, that probably did him in and made it even less likely to happen on Eddie's terms. And see, the thing is, Joshua and Eddie Hearn have a real pompous type of attitude. Like, they came in the game like, oh, we're the heavyweight A-sides and, you know, on some Floyd Mayweather shit. Like, they just been doing this at the highest level. They've been doing very well for themselves. No denying that. We all know that. Joshua's a good fighter, gold medalist, great. Undefeated, great. But they started, I'll make the Wilder fight in 2018, 2019, 2020 when I want to fight him, when I feel, you know, boxing fans told AJ to get his ass to America and fight. Come on, get familiar with the American media and the American public, blah blah blah. And he was like, no, I like it in the UK. And then now it's blowing up in their face. This is really, aside from the actual drug test, which they couldn't control, every other thing is like a microcosm or like almost karma and a chain reaction to decisions that DAZN, Eddie Hearn, and AJ have made. Almost all of it. I told you they should have brought Joshua to America before. I said it. Lennox Lewis said it. You said we were hating. Lennox Lewis, a UK fighter, you know, he says, oh yeah, AJ, he definitely needs to come to America. That's what Lennox Lewis said. He said he definitely needs to come to America and set up shop. AJ was being so insistent on not doing it, and it makes you wonder why. You know, why is he so insistent on not coming to America? That's just weird. And then, you know, certain things happen. Povetkin fight probably didn't sell as good as they thought. And then DAZN, you know, they're like, man, we need you to come. We need your next fight to be big and make a splash in America. And then all of a sudden, 1 year after turning down $50 million to fight Wilder in America, plus get a pay-per-view upside for even a more anticipated fight, he now wants to come to oh yeah, I want to fight in America now. What? Where did this come from? Because Wilder was trying to fight you in America, you're trying to drag his ass to the UK for less money. The jig is up, people. The jig is up. I don't care what you are. I don't care who you are. The jig is up. You wanted to drag Wilder to the UK, and he was willing to go. He wanted fair terms. And you know there's less money for the fight. They did articles and said that he could make 20, 30 plus million less just by having the fight in the UK. And they were still trying to have it in the UK. Then all of a sudden you randomly switch. This is backfiring at its worst, or at its best, I guess is the way to put it. Then all of a sudden, now you want to fight in America. People been telling you, hey, Wilder and Tyson Fury, your UK, fellow countryman, is fighting an American fighter. You want to fight the winner, good for heavyweight boxing. It'd be great if you show up and show face and get in the ring and all this shit. Or just show there, have the camera pan to you and you do one of these. Joshua said, no, I'm going to sleep. I'm going to bed. Now when your fight got messed up, you think America and Americans and promoters you or your promoter have been talking about are going to be jumping up for joy to help you. Eddie Hearn has went at Bob Arum and said some things in top rank cards. He's went against PBC cards, predicting everybody's numbers. You don't think they pay attention to this? Every time Eddie Hearn, the card this week, Crawford Khan, he was like, oh, I know how much both fighters are going to make. And guess what? Let me tell you, it's not going to be worth it. They're overpaying and, he's all in everybody else's numbers, won't release DAZN numbers, won't tell us how many subscribers DAZN got, but he all up in everyone else's numbers. And now his event gets messed up and we supposed to all just like rearrange our lives to support it. We're supposed to, these other promoters are supposed to rearrange and reallocate bodies to go make AJ a star. And they don't have nothing to do with AJ. And PBC felt like they got the runaround. Wilder felt like he got the runaround. You feel me? He felt like he got the runaround with dealing with Joshua's team. And now you want PBC to send reinforcements to make sure you have a better fight and a better event. That's not no type of real world scenario. It's just not. I don't know what type of fantasy world you guys live in. Like I said, that's why Eddie Hearn should have just came in quiet, and just try to have some allies or, just working relationships so he can get these fights off. Boom, boom, boom. Like, for example, you never really seen this with Tom Loeffler. You know, Tom Loeffler, he says whatever. But when you see Tom Loeffler, like, he just does his business. You feel what I'm saying? When he was managing Triple G, he worked with Al Heyman on the Dominique Wade fight. Fact. He worked with Al Heyman on the Danny Jacobs fight. Fact. He worked with Canelo and Golden Boy on the Canelo fights. Fact. You see? He just kept it player. Shout out to Loeffler. Tom Loeffler kept it player. He wasn't talking shit about Canelo, talking crazy. You know, after the fights or something, maybe he said something. But not before. You know what I'm saying? Not a week before. And then Triple G's opponent pulls out like Canelo. And then you could have fought Andre, but you was talking shit about him. You get what I'm saying? So, bottom line, Team Joshua put themselves in this position. And I just body this beat. Let me know what you guys think. I'm out. It's all smoke and mirrors. Motherfuckers acting like Luis Ortiz wasn't an option before Miller. And now if he don't step up to the plate, he's missing out. Stop it. Stop it. Trying to scare this man. Oh, if you don't fight him now, then that might be your last opportunity. Get the fuck out of here. How's it going to be his last opportunity? Who's Joshua going to fight after? Let's say he fights Michael Hunter. Okay, who's he going to fight after that? The public is probably sick of it. They're going to demand Joshua to fight better and better competition. Wilder fought Luis Ortiz and Tyson Fury in 1 year and would have fought Tyson Fury again right away, but Tyson Fury backed out. The public's going to demand Joshua to fight someone big. And so is DAZN at this rate, if their cards keep looking like this. You know, Triple G versus a goddamn guy that has a bakery, bro. Steve Rolls. Like, whatever. We're going to see. We're going to see how these fights do. Bro, that's sad when you don't even see Ellie at some of these fights, bro. That's sad, bro. Like, listen, goddamn it, listen to me. You don't see Ellie at these fights. Like, him personally. That's how I know a fight trash. That's how I know your fight ain't big. When Ellie ain't there, like, goddamn, like, Sackback ain't even here. I'm not talking about when he sends somebody. I'm talking about when he ain't there. That's how you know it's some trash, bro. Shit, Ellie ain't even at your shit? Fuck, cause he be everywhere. That's how you know you putting out something. When Ellie don't go, fuck. I see Ellie at every big fight. Every big fight I went to, I see Ellie. You know, Ward and Kovalev, anything, bro. Every big fight. I even rode planes with Ellie. Like, not planned, but he just happened to be on the same plane on the way back to Cali. Man. I ain't seen Ellie on these most of these DAZN cards, unless it's like Jesse Vargas or in LA or some shit, or someone he's cool with directly. Because guess what? Ellie been with me at the bigger fights. I was at Broner Pacquiao. I seen Ellie ass. He wasn't at Demetrius Andrade Arturakov, because I seen him in Vegas. Demetrius Arturakov was in New York or Jersey or, you know, Jersey Shore or some shit. And that's the other thing DAZN got to get with. They got to start putting these fights in better locations. Like, why is Usyk fighting? Usyk should fight in Cali or some shit. Why is he fighting in Maryland? Like, no disrespect to DMV and all that, but Usyk versus Takam in Maryland? Like, I don't get that. You know, Bogdan Dinu and Gerald Miller in Kansas? Like, you could at least put him at the Apollo Theater or some shit, bro. You put him in Kansas. These locations don't be making sense with a lot of these DAZN fights. Obviously, Canelo makes sense with Jacobs, but some, you know, Philly, you know, Tevin Farmer fighting in Philly, that made sense. Okay, cool. But they be having people, they be weird. It'd be like Usyk and Murat Gassiev on a card together. Like, oh, where's the fight gonna be? Oh, Saturn. It's like Saturn. Yeah, motherfucker, you know the planet with the rings. We going to Jupiter for Joshua next shit. Like, what the fuck? Jupiter? Jupiter? Hey, I am not going to no fucking Jupiter to watch Joshua Michael Hunter. What the fuck is y'all talking about, bro? I'm on Saturn's ring to see Usyk tack him. Like, come on, bro. They just be making up location. You know. Fucking Demetrius Andrade versus Chuckle House or some shit at the Neverland Ranch. Like, what the fuck? You got bubbles running across the goddamn ring and shit, bro. Why are we at the Neverland Ranch? Why is this shit here? Why you have Boo Boo fighting at the Neverland Ranch? Another day is gone. I'm still on. How could this be? Never say goodbye. Why we fuck are we at Neverland Ranch? Fucking leaving Neverland looking now. He said you are not alone at this. Every day I ask myself, I did it. Just moving good. Don't you? You ain't nothing. You ain't bad. You ain't nothing. Is it just a lie? Woo! Man, we been bodying shit. Oh. Hey, get out of here. So it's a Jimmy Lennon voice live from Neverland Ranch. It's showtime. Yeah, bro. Motherfuckers on roller coasters doing scorecards and shit. Hey, bro. Fucking train station. Why are we at Neverland Ranch? That's what I need to know. We'll see what they do for Joshua's next fight. Ugh. I should have took a nanny nap killing all these casuals. Yeah, they got double features and shit. Like, shit don't even make sense. Murat Gassiev live behind the Tech 9 concert. I'm like, what? You have a fight when Tech 9 is performing? Coming up at the rubber, the coming brother, the motherfucker, the butter, the hieroglyphic, the prolific. Like, what? You got a. We had a Tech 9 concert? No, not that Tech 9, but rest in peace that Tech 9. I'm talking about the fast flow Tech 9. Y'all go there. Eddie Hearn bought all the tickets for AJ versus Big Baby Miller fight, and can't we sell the tickets for more money now? He need Ortiz, and he'd be stuck with all those. He said he'd be stuck with all those tickets nobody gonna buy. Damn, that's true. But see, that's what happens when you don't listen to the public. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy. DAZN ain't looking too appealing to me right now. I'm just saying. Like, man, they just, the decision make, like I said, like, let's say AJ fights somebody, like, he can't control that. See, this is the thing. You don't have a big stable. It, like, DAZN, it's like almost a curse. Their big events, like their biggest, best fights are getting compromised. Their best fights, undercards are getting compromised. That's not a good trend. I was really looking for Demetrius Andrade, Billy Joe Saunders. That was very interesting to me. Canceled. I get it. It's not Andrade's fault, but it still happened, and we had to watch a much lesser card because the main event got compromised. You know, all these Canelo Fielding and Canelo versus Jacobs. David Lemieux was supposed to be on both of those cards. One, he couldn't make weight and put himself in the hospital. And then he was supposed to be on the Jacobs Canelo card, and now he has a hand injury. Then the Canelo Fielding Virgil Ortiz Jr. couldn't get cleared to fight in New York. You know, so like big cards are taking massive hits on the undercard side or losing their main event. And then now Joshua Miller lost his main event. It's crazy. It's crazy how it just keeps happening. Like, it happens to everybody, UFC, PBC, but it's not like every Tank fight is happening, or, you know, it's just randomly, it happens when it happens. But it seems to be hitting the best cards that they have, that they, you know, it's not like Humberto Soto pulls out, you know, or fails a drug test versus Brandon Rios. Because that wouldn't be a massive, I'm not trying to disrespect him, but I'm just saying that wouldn't be, a lot of people didn't watch that fight no way. Or it's not like Jaime Munguia, last two opponents failed a drug test. It's your major cards. That's great. Like Saunders and Andre, that would have been good, I would imagine. You know, Gerald Miller, AJ, I was looking forward to that. So, I don't know. They're going to have to get that together. And see, I promise y'all. See, this, you know, I could tell why people are coming up with all these excuses, because they see new media was right from the fucking beginning. They see we was right with all the stuff we saying, and they don't want to admit it yet. They don't want to admit it yet. So they're like, oh, come on, Luis. They want Luis Ortiz to save the day because they lied on him. They lied and act like he wasn't shit. They act like he wasn't the best of the best. They clowned him, said he don't deserve AJ and this and that. And then now the truth is coming out, and they realize that he's a good fighter, and they've always realized he's a good fighter. Now they want him to come save the day because they know it's not looking good for DAZN. It's not looking. Am I lying? When DAZN first came out, you remember all these UK fucks were coming in the comment section, and you know, maybe some of it wasn't from the UK, and they're saying, aha, the DAZN takeover, Showtime will be out of business, playing little games, playing with fire. You play with fire, you'll get burned. Remember? They were saying, aha, DAZN's taking over, Showtime's going out of business in a year, because Eddie Hearn said that. And now it's all toppling on top of them. You know? It's like Jenga, it's just falling. They picked the wrong piece out and the whole shit crumbles. And I told you it was going to crumble. I told you the UK can't save you in this scenario. You have to do right by American fans. You have to do right by new media. We control the narrative. I told you the UK cannot save you. I've been telling y'all. And now we're seeing it. You know, all the stuff they said is little by little coming back to haunt them. They said Joshua is a massive star, massive, and he's bigger even in America than Wilder. Well, we're going to find out, because his next opponent is probably not going to be somebody that we anticipated it being. So we're going to see what happens. We're going to see if they have a lot of refunds. We're going to see what the crowd looking like. We're going to see if the numbers get announced from Joshua and his next opponent. We're going to see. You know? And unlike the UFC and PBC, when these things happen, they have more resources to draw from because they have a deeper bench. When Conor McGregor, he had this happen to him a couple times. He is their biggest star, and this happened with injuries, allegedly. Jose Aldo, and then they put Chad Mendes in there. That was a nice save. And then RDA pulled out. They made an even better fight, which was Nate Diaz. So let's see if DAZN, since they keep bragging about how much money they have, more money than anyone else in boxing, let's see if they can make a save like PBC when they put Matt Korobov, which I think was a tougher fight for Charlo than Willie Monroe. I think Charlo would have stopped Willie Monroe, most likely. You know, when Broner was supposed to fight Omar Figueroa, and then they replaced him with Jesse Vargas. When the UFC replaced Jose Aldo pull out with Chad Mendes. When they replaced Conor McGregor, when he was supposed to fight RDA, Dos Anjos, and then they replaced it with Nate Diaz. Let's see what DAZN comes up with. He said they're not going to release those numbers. Yeah, exactly. So it's on them. Let's see. Like I said, let's see what they come up with. But I have a feeling it's going to be probably like Michael Hunter and Emmanuel Char. Y'all just keep letting me be right. It's a shame. I know they cannot wait till I get something wrong. They're waiting every day for the news to come out so I can finally get something wrong. DAZN taking major hits this week. Like I said, the UK and other people, they were saying DAZN's taking over, and I'm like, let's just wait it out. Let's see how they do. Let's see what matches. I told you, I said the same thing. So the true fans, the great thing is, like I said, I always have time on my side. So the true fans know what I said and what I put out there. So I'm not really worried about it. But I do like to occasionally remind you. I told you, I said, let's just see. Just like I said with Lomachenko and Triple G and all this shit. Let's just see. Let's see where their careers go. Let's see where DAZN, what matches they can produce. And then that's going to, I said, content is king. So that's going to determine how well they do in the American market. And I said the America is not like UK. You can't just put on David Price versus Cash Ali and Kelly Price and all this shit. Nobody's trying to watch Kelly Price, you know, and Mary J. Blige fight and all this shit, bro. Don't need no hateration, holleration in this dancery. Getting it popping, percolating in this dancery. Like, we're not trying to see Kelly Price versus MJB. What the fuck? Battle of the Liams and Callum. That's what I'm saying. Liam, and, you know, fucking Charlie Betmay. That's a lie. Ego, you hear about LeBron signing with DAZN. See, you got to present the news accurately. He's a basketball player. He didn't sign with DAZN. He's producing. It has like a production company, and they're producing Canelo versus Jacobs, a special like 24/7. You making it like he playing basketball on DAZN or some shit. Like his dunks can only be found on DAZN. Hell no, bro. So we'll see what they come out. Has anyone heard anything new? They always look for a scapegoat, though. You know, Luis Ortiz, he should have took the opportunity. Oh, well. And it's crazy because DAZN keeps paying for ads on my YouTube and different stuff like that, which is cool. You know, it's cool. It's money for me, but it's like, look, I just went to Instagram right now. Look, Instagram sponsored. DAZN sponsored. They paying for all types of ads. Hey, I see the one, the fool. They paying for all types of ads. We'll see how that work out. Yeah, they're paying for just different ads and stuff. But the thing is, ads and promotion, that's one thing. But it's like you got to get, like, you could have a sale in the Sunday paper and have some good ads, or it looks like good ads in the Sunday paper. That gets people's foot in the door. But if they get there and then the Best Buy TV looks like trash, or you don't have any in stock, then that defeats the purpose. So the promotion, it's not about promotion like that. It's more about the matchups that you're making. You're like, okay, you're doing all these this shit is crazy, bro. I need to hurry up and become a billionaire, because this shit is crazy. I swear I would put some thought into this shit. But what I'm saying is this: putting out ad placement that's cool. It's a strategy, blah blah blah. But what happens after that? You need a product that builds customers for life. You know, okay, you got people interested and curious about DAZN, and then they go look at the schedule, and it's like, oh, AJ versus TBA, Carlos Takam versus Usyk in Maryland, Humberto Soto, Jesse Vargas, You know, Sor Rungvisai versus Estrada that's getting no promotion. You know, the World Boxing Super Series, good fights. Regis Prograis versus his opponent, Kirill Relic, getting no promotion. Nonito Donaire versus Zoltani, getting no promotion. I just don't see that the ad marketing thing space. It's not really, that's not what the problem is. You know what I'm saying? You're helping to get more visibility. I think the thing is you need the fights that, or the content in general, whether it's fights or whatever it is. You know, you got to lure people in. Then what? We'll see how it plans out. Let's see who Joshua ends up fighting, but that's my thoughts on it. Old media, take that L and hold it, enjoy it, and love it. Shout out to everybody who tuned in. We going ham. I told you, I got nothing but time to do this.